Good evening, everybody. My name is Kevin. Welcome back to the ESP32 product creation journey, where we are going from idea to consumer product using an ESP32 chip, specifically in our case, the ESP room module, although all the stuff that we're going through would apply to any of the ESP chips, including a lot of this stuff would apply to the ESP8266 as well. So before we get into the topic of this stream, I want to give a huge thank you to everybody that's joining the journey, whether that's through the Discord, comments on YouTube, other channels. A lot of people are starting to get engaged, and it's awesome to see people sharing and ideas and thoughts, and just really appreciate everybody. And the reason that this stream is happening is because I don't know what his name is because he's using a Discord handle, but somebody from the Espressive team hopped into the Discord channel, which was amazing, and pointed out something that I have gotten completely wrong. And so that's what we're going to do today around SmartConfig. I had previously said that SoftAP and SmartConfig were the same thing, and they are definitely not. And that's just something that I always had in my head, that they were the same thing. Now, I'm not going to do a deep technical breakdown of how they're different. I'm going to give you the very short version, which is SoftAP. Again, this is the existing product that I have, this little puck with an e-paper display. SoftAP is a configure. These are both, by the way, if you haven't been keeping up with the stream, these are both ways to configure and provision your device. So you get a device, it needs to get connected to Wi-Fi, but to do that, it needs credentials to connect to your Wi-Fi, the SSID, your network name, as well as your password. And so there's lots of different ways that we can get that information onto the device. SoftAP and SmartConfig are two of those. SoftAP is soft access point, is when your device acts as its own access point, like its own separate router in your house, and broadcasts its own SSID. So if you connect to your home network, whatever it's named, home network, when this is in SoftAP mode, it broadcasts its own network name that you can then take your phone and connect directly to it, like you would connect to your home Wi-Fi, except this doesn't give you internet access. It just gives you a connection between your phone and the device. And then you can exchange information like your Wi-Fi credentials. SmartConfig, as was pointed out by Eager, IGRR, he's in the Discord. Thanks so much for hopping in. SmartConfig is a TI proprietary, well, not proprietary, I shouldn't say that. TI came up with SmartConfig, which is a really ingenious, clever way of using the existing UDP protocol to broadcast packets on your home network to get the credentials to your device. Now, again, it's really quite technical, and if I remember, I'll stick a link to a Great Stack Exchange post that Eager listed in the Discord channel in the description for the video here. But essentially what happens is you still need a phone, and what the phone does is it broadcasts UDP packets, and then a router, when it gets those, it will rebroadcast them to all the devices. Your IoT device is sitting out there. It's not connected to anything, but it's listening to all of this wireless traffic, and it picks up on those UDP packets, and then the phone, using this SmartConfig technology, encodes the SSID and password in a very clever way so that the device can extract it from these broadcast packets that are going to everything on the network, and extract the SSID as well as the password and connect to Wi-Fi. So hopefully that made sense. Like I said, it's a really clever, ingenious way of using the protocols that exist to exchange information to get a device connected. And so previously, I know you're probably getting tired of provisioning, but we're showing the whole process here, and this is part of the process. We got to go through some of this stuff. Rogue Security, what's up? I'm glad you could be here. Really looking forward to what you come up with for SoftAP provisioning. For those that are watching this after the fact, if you're not in the Discord, you got to get in the Discord. Like, lots of cool things are happening in there. People are sharing lots of fun things. Rogue Security being one of those, sharing a project that he's working on to do SoftAP provisioning with a custom app. And so really cool stuff there. So what we're going to do today in the stream, hopefully, is we're going to test I see I'm getting mixed up still. SmartConfig. In the previous streams, we did SoftAP as well as BLE. Both of them work very well with the out-of-box espressive apps. Now we're going to do SmartConfig using this, again, very clever way of using network packets. So what it should do, again, as a quick recap, the phone app is going to broadcast packets that our ESP32 board should pick up with our username and our SSID and password and connect to the internet. And we're just going to see how that works. And as we did in the previous episodes, we're going to show what the size of that binary is. Now, I think I actually still have it up for those that may just be joining. Console, we got to wipe because we just never got that working. So we'll get rid of that. Actually, let's just get rid of the results. And we'll use this as CSmart. SmartConfig. Sparky, what's up? Thanks for joining. Okay, so we have BLE, SoftAP, and then SmartConfig. So you can see BLE was the biggest, 962,000 bytes. We lose about 150K of that if we just go SoftAP. And then let's see what we get with SmartConfig. Something that I want to do more research on is how reliable SmartConfig is, as well as how secure. I'm still not very educated on that, but I'd like to learn. And by the way, we're all learning this together, which is awesome. Like, I know some of this might be a little boring because like these aren't polished videos showing just all the exciting things, but this is the process that you go through when you're building products. So, okay, let's see if we can get SmartConfig working. So before we do that, I have downloaded, this is the ESP Touch app. It's available in both iOS and Google Play Store. The source code is available as well. So again, just like with SoftAP and BLE, Espressive has done a great job of providing template apps that you can then take and modify for your specific product. That's likely what I will do, is take one of these and have it skinned with like our logo and things like that, based on whichever direction we decide to go with provisioning. So let's see if we can get SmartConfig working. What we're going to do, actually, I meant to do this before we started the stream, but here we are, is I'm going to wipe out all these changes. Yep, watch this. I'm just going to discard this because some people have said they want to see more of the coding side of things. So I'm going to try and walk through that a little bit more to show. We are going to do, this is mostly going to be a copy, call it copy paste stream, where I'm not going to be writing any original code. But let's discard changes. And so now we're back to our regular main. But I do want to try and show more of that and talk through some of the coding stuff to help as many people as we can. So now we're back to, this is the state that our repo's in. You can see nothing, just our log manager that we worked on last week, and some commented out code, and just a loop every 5 seconds saying hello world. Now let's, over here, look at the SmartConfig example. Espressive dominating the example code. They do a great job. So I'm going to open this app. We'll come back to that. That like went right into my SSID. Like, how did it know? That's wild. All right, I'm gonna close it and we'll reopen it fresh when it's time. Okay, all we're gonna do here, just like we've done before, we're gonna do some copy paste. Now, let's come into main here. Okay, so we're gonna come into SmartConfig main.c, and just like we did before, the way I'm gonna do this, again, this is how I copy paste my way into testing things. It's not how we write code, but I'm gonna come in and just grab the whole sample code. I don't want to replace it outright because I do like what little code we have here is really the basis of where we will end up code-wise. And paste it here. And then here are all the things that we have to include, all the external header files that we'll need. We'll just cut those. And then what I do is I just paste them under the top here, and then anything that I don't have, I'll add. So like I don't have string or standard lib. A general rule of thumb is include built-in language libraries ahead of framework libraries ahead of your own libraries. So like string and standard lib are just standard, and standard IO are standard C libraries. I'm going to include those before the FreeRTOS esp-idf stuff. That's these driver ones as well. And then last, I'm going to include my own header files for my own components. This gets a little tricky sometimes because include files in C++ can mess up, like pound defines can mess up the includes that follow after them. So this is just a general rule of thumb to include the system, like the language ones first, then the esp-idf ones, and then your own. So that's how we've done that. I've already included FreeRTOS and tasks, so we'll go ahead and get rid of those. I do not have event groups, so I will cut it and I will add it here. ESP Wi-Fi, WPA2, event. We don't need log. Remember, we have our own implementation of log. System, NVS Flash, okay, so these are all ESP libraries. I'm a little concerned about how these don't have FreeRTOS in front of them. We'll see how we fare. NVS Flash we had before. We'll just see what we get errors on. I feel like we might have to include another component to get SmartConfig, but we'll find that out as we compile. And so what we can do, actually, well, no, let's keep going. So this is all the stuff that needs to be defined up front before any of our functions. So I'll take that and hoist it all the way up to the top. I'll put it underneath my serial logger here. These are just declaring, in this case, global variables that we'll use. This right here, for those that aren't familiar, this is not a variable. This is a definition. The SmartConfig example task is a function that will be defined down below, but the reason we put it up here is so that other functions can use it, and that will make more sense here in a second. Actually, let me pull up. I'm going to pull all the rest of this up except for main. X. Okay. And I'll put that underneath here. The reason we do that in C++ is order matters. Like if you've ever programmed in JavaScript, it'll do like auto hoisting, which means it will look through the file, find all the functions that are declared, hoist them to the top so that you can use them before they're declared. You cannot do that in C++. And so if we look in event handler here, right here, we're going to call SmartConfig example task, and that's going to be defined down here. But since SmartConfig example task is below event handler, if we didn't have this line right here, like if we commented that out, the compiler would say, hey, I don't know what SmartConfig example task is. I don't know about it. And so there's two ways that you can go about that. You can either declare it up front like this, or we could grab SmartConfig example task and hoist it above event handler. However, that doesn't always work because sometimes you have these circular dependencies, and so typically you'll declare things like this ahead of time. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. Now, just as we did before, I talked about this in a previous episode. As much as we can, we want to extract abstract interfaces away from the hardware-specific stuff and wrap them in our own things so that our code is more portable. So an example of this is this ESP log I. There's log W, log E for logging. That's a built-in esp-idf-ism that we don't want to have in our code because now our code is tightly coupled to the esp-idf. And so what we did in a previous episode, you can go back and watch, is we created, we created this idea of a log manager. And the log manager abstracts that away and still uses the ESP logging stuff. But if we wanted to port our code to a different platform, we wouldn't need to change. Like this code none of this is portable code because it's all highly coupled to esp-idf. So we're going to go ahead and change those. All those log I's, we're going to change to log manager info. And let's see, are there any log W's or log E's? Does not look like it. The compiler will let us know if there is. Okay. Like I did before, there's, I believe, a message in here that says, like, this is your Wi-Fi and password. Yes, log manager. I'm not going to log manage. I'm not going to log out my SSID and password. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, save it. And great. And then the main is very simple, like MVS flash init and then initialize Wi-Fi. So we'll just take that, get rid of this main because we already have our own main. And I think we can just put it right here. So I initialize Wi-Fi. Let's look at that really quick. It's going to go through that. And how will we know when we're provisioned? It's up in this handler. So got SSID, scan done. I think there's a like provisioning is finished somewhere. SmartConfig over, and then it deletes this task. I think what's going to happen is it's not going to wait until we're connected. I swear this used the event bits though. I guess not. Event group. We can wait on the bits. Well, we'll just see what happens as it comes through. I'm still learning the FreeRTOS task stuff, so I'm not expert at that yet. Come back in here. Like we should have like a wait until, so we're gonna Wi-Fi start. Yeah, it's right here. It's this, we wait for that to happen. And once that's done, we say SmartConfig. So really it's like right here, when we see SmartConfig over, we know that we are connected. I think this is going to happen. Oh, we'll just get rid of my while. How about that? That way we don't have to mess with it. Okay, so let's try and build this, see what happens. Okay. ESP-WA2, no such file or directory. The last time we got into this, it's because we were missing components. And so let's come over to the docs and do a search for ESP-WPA2. Oh, that's not helpful. Did I type that wrong? Let's just do WPA2. I wonder if we need to menu config that. idf.py menu config component config. Let's come down to, well, it's not the Wi-Fi provisioning manager, I don't think. Yeah, it would be under like maybe here. Like a Wi-Fi security is what we're, oh, Wi-Fi, here we go. Enable WPA3. Okay, this is where we go back to our VS Code version, where we can just type in WPA2. Enable WPA3 personal. Use embed, print debug, add WPN interoperability. Okay, so it's not that. So why can't it find WPA2? So let's Come back. There's always something that gets us. ESP-WPA2.h. I don't know why it wouldn't be here. Let's look at CMake lists. No, nothing there. SmartConfig. Examples, common components. It's not in here. Unless it's in here. No. Okay, so it's not finding that. So, all right, Espressive sample code's letting me down. Shoot, I don't even remember where it was. In provisioning? No, it wasn't in provisioning. Somebody help. Yeah, I see that again. It always dumps me into a dev branch. Sparky, thanks for pointing that out. Let's go to master. This happens. I link to it from the documentation. It always puts you on a funky commit. Wi-Fi wait, let's see. Wi-Fi. Nothing through there. Okay. Yeah. Sparky keeps me on the right path. Okay, let's look at the code in here to see if it's any different. It's still including WPA2. Ugh. We had this last time. All right. ESPW. There's probably something ahead of it that we're missing, like FreeRTOS. No. There's WPA.h. WPS. Yeah, Wi-Fi provisioning, is it maybe under here? No. Wi-Fi. I'm gonna just say W. Wait, why am I editing the wrong one here? Or did I start a new line? Let's keep undoing. Oh yeah, I'm editing the Wi-Fi.h. Let's skip that for now and see if we get another one. Come back to it. Let's see if ESP event, ESP system, and all that throw the same thing. Log manager was not declared. Oh, it certainly was. Oh, it certainly wasn't. I forgot I'd made this change on the other one as well. Got to put log manager up here. Okay. Build. Maybe it doesn't even need WPA2. I highly doubt that. ESP SmartConfig get RVD data. SC type ESP touch v2. Okay. So this is where I think. Let's come back to the docs. This is where I'm guessing we're going to need SmartConfig as a library. So if we come into provisioning, SmartConfig. Wi-Fi, and this is going to be, yeah, that's the example application. It's in ESP Wi-Fi, include ESP SmartConfig.h, which I think we've included, right? Right there. So it's not liking. Okay, so here is the config file, and then it was saying it doesn't like SC type ESP touch v2. SC type. Okay. So we obviously have a version issue here because you can see that like the define, it's looking for ESP, SC type ESP touch v2, and we only have SC type ESP touch. So yeah. Okay. So I wonder if I'm just on a older version of esp-idf. Where is my terminal? Give me a new one, maybe? There we go. Let's bail on that one. Okay. How do we figure that out? Dev, yeah, let's do it. cd dev esp-idf. I'm on version 4.2. So 4.2, I believe, is the new stuff. So let's just say, what line of code was that? Touch. Well, actually, let's just look for v2. I'm like, why don't we have v2? That's my question. Because we should. ESP touch v2. Yeah, see right here, enumerations 0, and I have air kiss and I have touch air kiss. Let's look at it again. I have touch air kiss and touch air kiss, and they're saying there's also a touch v2. So that we're off somewhere on versions. 3.3.5, like where on earth? That's like way back. Tags, I'm on v4 too. I'm way up here. Is a minor update for 4.1, so let's go to 4.2 here and see if the docs are any different. I bet. Well, they better be. And this should probably link to, let's click on this. Let's go to this source code. Yeah, you can see now I'm on 4.2. Now let's take a look at the sample code. It better not have a v2 in it. Ooh, it doesn't. Okay. So, geez, what else is different then? So, geez, good point going forward. Like, make sure you're on the tag of the esp-idf that you're on. That was down in more copy pasta. Yep, you nailed it, Sparky. Dang it. All right, well, I don't know what else has changed, so I'm just gonna copy the main is the same. So let's copy everything above here. Jeez. All the way up to the event group. Why does this have to be? Main, everything up to event group. Get rid of that. Paste it back in. Change our log. Log manager info. Okay, now let's try to build that. Hey, look at that. And you know what's funny is we're not including WPA2, and I believe this sample still does right there. So, and like I'm going to give Espressif a little bit of a hard time here, but I'm also going to say, having worked at large companies, Microsoft was a great example of this. When I was at Microsoft, we were trying to maintain documentation over even just like a couple of versions of something is a daunting task and normally deprioritized at best compared to just like delivering code. But it's hard to maintain so many versions of this stuff. And so I'm not sure what's going on there. But our thing is compiling. Rogue Security wants to know why not upgrade to the latest IDF. I just installed this IDF like a month ago, so I thought I was on the latest. What is the Rogue Security? Do you know what the latest is? Like what the latest version is? If I look at releases under here, okay, there's a 4.3. Release v4.3. And let's look and see if this has the v2 in it. It does. So that's a 4.3 thing versus a 4.2. Really quickly, sometimes I get into like, I get distracted and I go off on tangents, but this one is an important one that I do want to share. One of my biggest pet peeves of the particle ecosystem was like a new version of the device OS like every 2 weeks. And I even got to a point where I was experiencing an issue and I was not on the latest. And they gave me hey, you're not on the latest. When you're delivering hardware devices to people, like upgrading this isn't like your Tuesday updates of Windows Update. Like it is absolutely crucial that you understand every single thing that goes into a device OS or an esp-idf update. And so I'm not a huge fan of like, let me just grab the latest and jam on that, because when you have product in the field, now for a maker project, grab the latest, always just dev on the latest. Once you've delivered a product, like once I've shipped like a puck with a particle device OS version, I don't want to just keep shipping new ones with a new version, a new version, a new version, because it gets to be an impossible task, even after just dozens of devices, to know like, oh geez, is this a 4.1.3 issue, or is this something else? And like every single version that they release of like the esp-idf is going to have fixes and other things. And like all software, firmware, it's likely going to have bugs. And so I personally recommend extreme caution whenever revving the main underlying framework version. In this case, esp-idf. Like now, since I'm in dev stages here, I can rev to 4.3 and keep going on that, like Rogue Security suggests. But once I've delivered product, I will not roll that version unless I'm absolutely positive I know every single thing that's in that, like the release notes, to make sure that I'm not potentially introducing something that now I have to manage all these different dependencies. The less versions you have in the field, the better. That's just me and my experience of having delivered some of these things. Like, limit the number of those that you have in the field. So it looks like SC type ESP Touch V2 is a 4.3 thing. And I will be updating, if that's the latest, I'll update it, because again, I'm pre-launch. And so I'm just going to take the new versions, but as soon as I launch, I'm locked in on that version until I very thoughtfully roll to the next one. So, okay, enough of my soapboxing. We built. It's great. While we're here, let's IDF pi size. Oh, whoa. Size. What time is it? Oh, it's getting there. I've got, for those that have been following the Discord, I am working on building a home server. Like, I have time for that, but I'm really interested in building a home lab. I have actually acquired a server rack that is on its way to be delivered, like at this late hour of night for me here. And so I might have to drop off, because if that gets here, I got to help unload it and put it in the garage. But I think we've got enough time. IDF is, oh yeah, I got to source it. Source dev esp-idf export sh. Okay. What? Oh, because I'm in Daggone it. CD dev. I built in here too, didn't I? Snap feeder. No, it builds out the other one. Okay. There we go. Okay. Ooh, look at that. I like the sound of that size. Okay, this is going to make this decision interesting. SmartConfig, if it works. We should test to make sure it works. Look at that. We're down to 718. We're 100. SoftAP was 150K smaller than BLE, and SmartConfig, if it works, is another 100K lighter than that. So that's interesting. Cool. Now let's see if it actually works. Where is my device? Let's plug this in. And we're gonna go flash and monitor. Flash terminated. Why? Permission denied? Could not open. What? What are you talking about? Ah, there we go. I don't know what that was all about. Okay. It is programming. Let's get our app ready. All right, ESP Touch Smart Config. I will open it when the time comes. So we have tried ESP BLE provisioning app, ESP SoftAP provisioning app, both wonderful little apps. I'm using an Android, but they're available on iOS as well. And all open sourced from Espressif. All the source code is available, so that's cool. And we're almost there. I don't think this is provisions. If it's, let's see what it says. Okay. It says Smart Config. Start define channel. All right, let's launch our app. And it's just going, it's like found, oh, because it knows what I'm connected. I got it. So the app knows which Wi-Fi network I'm connected to on the phone. And so it immediately goes to that and it asks me for the password. That's pretty slick. Okay, so I'm going to type that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm just kidding. That's not my password. Device count 1. And then I have a choice between broadcast and multicast. And it does say device don't support. I think it means device doesn't support 5G Wi-Fi. Please make sure the currently connected Wi-Fi is 2.4. So in my case, I do have a 2.4 and a 5 gig. I'm not sure what the phone's connected to. So let's just see what happens. I'm going to select broadcast, not multicast. And I'm just going to hit next. Done. And I'm going to hit confirm. And let's just see what happens. Right away, it said found channel on 8.2. Start to get SSID and password. It says ESP. Okay. I think this worked. And before I forget, stupid. Okay. Save. All right. I think we're connected. Let's, I'm going to flash this. Flash and monitor. Flash is already running. Restart task. And then I think because it's provisioned, like, will it start Smart Config again? I don't know. At this point, my credentials should be stored, so maybe we should look at getting a simple app to like test Wi-Fi, like a simple ping. Because I think this is working, and that was pretty. If it worked, and I think it did, That was pretty slick, and it is the lightest provisioning method of all the ones that we've tried so far. So this is interesting. It's going back into SmartConfig, but I think if we looked at, let's just come into, API guides. Is there like a Wi-Fi? Let's just get, like, that's not what I'm looking at. Like, I just want to, simple internet get, I don't know. Like, oh, Arduino, I hate. There's a way to call, and this is where the copy pasta is going to fail us. Like, it'd be nice if, as part of this example, so the other example, like the BLE and the SoftAP, had like a wait till it's provisioned and then continue. And we could, and it would be even nice if they had like a little get request, like a simple HTTP endpoint that it hit. Shoot. Let's come into Wi-Fi and let's do getting started, station. This is going to help us. This is what we're looking for, I bet. Instance register. I think there's a STA finished. Yes, flash init. Wi-Fi init STA. Again, this is just going to connect it to AP. I really feel like it's bad if anybody from Espressif, like, I'm not sure what the thought process was behind having it spit out the username, like the password. I guess to help you debug, like maybe if you type the password in wrong, but I feel like I would maybe comment that out and put a little note that says, like, if you want to help debug and see these things, uncomment, but showing it by default, I don't love. Examples, Ethernet, no. Yeah, Wi-Fi. Well, like I say, I just want a simple, like, yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. Well, I haven't made it this far, so does anybody know where I can grab like a, yeah, rogue security? I'm worried about the same thing. Like, there might be a trade-off between security and usability. I had the same thought, and I like I said, I've only in the early stages of researching this. I don't know what they say that they. I mean, you can make it secure with like encrypting the data as it's sent in the UDP packets. I don't know if Espressif is doing that by default, and um, so that's a good point. Like, what? Okay, let's just read through these very slowly. Maybe the IWP. Netcom. No. I just want to get to the internet. Yeah, not with Ethernet. I mean, with Wi-Fi, yeah, but like ping? Is there like a ping example? Come on, help me out here. Oh, this looks too complicated. Protocols. Maybe if we look in the protocols. Oh, here we go. HTTP, find me the client. HTTP client. Here we go. I knew there was an example somewhere. All right. This is what we're looking for. Sorry, I'm trying to wrap this stream up, but I don't. This is all the getting connected. I think we should be able to. Oh man, this is a very long example. Good grief. Hundreds. Okay, maybe this is. We might have to cut the stream, and I'll update you next time on whether this like actually worked. Yeah, good grief. That's way too long. I just want. Is there not like a simple HTTP request? HTTP get task. This is what I'm looking for. There, that looks much better. Okay. We should have already done all the netif init ESP event loop create default. X task create HTTP get task. I have no idea this is going to work. I'm actually quite convinced it's not going to work. But right here, I'm going to call this X task create HTTP get task, and let's see if we can just more copy pasta this Sparky. Let's see if we can just take. We're going to need a bunch of this, but some of it's going to be duplicate. We are copy pasting like over the top right now. And I do feel bad about it. Like for those of you that are watching, you're like, I should feel bad about myself. I do. Jeez. Okay, we have it. That's a duplicate. These defines should go above. I assume they're necessary. There's no way this is going to compile. And we also need to get rid of the log eyes. I just want to see if we have credentials and like we can connect to the internet. First of all, let's see how far off we are from this actually building. Gagablag. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce your handle, but I love reading it every time. And the last time you joined the stream, for like a half an hour afterwards, I kept saying it. My kids found it amusing. Yeah, Erno was not. Oh, let's get rid of these loggies. All right. And it is an art. Gag. Ugh, gosh. Gagablag. I got to read it, but I love saying it. It's still not finding Erno. That's because we're missing an include. Absolutely. So we're going to have to include, I guess, all of these things. Include error.h. Yep. So let's grab all these. We're just going to copy pasta into the sunset. Why not? I am going to pat myself on the back a little bit of how efficiently and grossly I am getting the copy pasta to compile. Like, this is never going to work. Let's, you know what, to make this, to give us a better chance, actually, let's move this X create task out of all this smart config stuff, because I think we're already configured. And then let's get rid of the initialize Wi-Fi, because I think the provisioning worked. And then let's just try and, I don't know why that didn't, there it goes. Let's just try and create the task right here and see what happens. Final answer. And if this doesn't work, I think we're going to call it either way. If it does work or if it doesn't work, I think we're going to call the stream. Okay, let's flash and monitor and see what kind of output we get. Oh, it's still running. Fix that. Okay. Get rid of you, get rid of you. These streams always take long. I felt like this should have been a half an hour stream, but it never takes a half an hour. This is not going to work. Any bets? You got about 10 seconds. Bets that this is going to work or not work. I'm going to go, it's not going to work. I got my money on not working. Okay, the fact that it's scrolling uncontrollably tells me that something is crashing. All right, so I got my money. It didn't work. Bootloader, what are we doing? We thread 2, callback, run inner outer. Okay, so yeah, we've definitely crashed. Yeah, okay, so I haven't configured something correctly, and so it's just crashing. An interesting thing is the reset. There's like a power on reset code. This is when it first boots up, it spits out a whole bunch of stuff over the terminal, kind of like your BIOS or your post stuff on a computer, and it'll give you a reason code of why it reset. This software CPU reset is your first indication that something was wrong instead of it being a power on reset. But all right, I think it's time for me to hang it up. I will massage this code, and next stream I'll give you an update on whether that actually worked. I would love to. In fact, I'm going to share, like, I'm going to go through the process to try and get this SmartConfig to work. And then as a result of the end of SmartConfig, have it actually like hit google.com or something and spit out the return. Like, I feel like that would be a complete example of SmartConfig. Like, yes, it's configured, it's connected to the Wi-Fi, and we can reach the internet. That to me would be a great example. Espressive, it looks like stops at just like, yeah, it should be done now, but like whether it's actually done, because you can see right here, it's like, hey, connected to AP, and then it's like SmartConfig over, and then there's nothing else to the example. It's just like, we're done here. So, yeah, I agree, Rogue Security. If it's connected to Wi-Fi, it should be able to connect to the internet. I just don't know. And I got an IP. Yeah, so that's a great point. Like earlier when we were looking at it, we saw the device did get an IP address from my network, which means it should have access to the internet. Rogue Security, thanks for pointing that out. I still want to make the full example because I think it would be helpful for other people to out of the box. So yeah, you're right. It definitely connected because it did get an IP. It won't get an IP address from the Wi-Fi if it's not connected. So, so that did work. It is lighter. I want to understand more about SmartConfig and what, like Rogue Security mentioned, what are the trade-offs? So yeah, just as a reminder, let's look at it one more time. BLE provisioning, we're at 962K. SoftAP, we're at 800 and almost 13K. And SmartConfig is down to 718K flash size. So big differences there. Something to consider. I'm going to make a decision so that we can move. I got to do some more research. I think I'm done streaming the research. I think it's probably getting old to people. Maybe it's not. If it's not getting old, let me know if you want to keep seeing me like copy pasta my way into a nightmare. Like, I hate doing that, but I'm trying to. The reason I'm doing that is to get the feedback of like, which one of these do I want to use? Because I need to make a decision on it so we can move forward. So that's going to do it for the stream. Thanks so much. It was awesome to have everybody here. Sparky, Rogue Security, Gaga Black Blag. You get favorite handle. Thanks so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, this video has probably taught you that I am not capable of answering them. But you're more than welcome to ask. Stick them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer those. And again, I do want to put together an example that gets us all the way because I think that would be cool to have. And maybe I'll submit it as a pull request to Espressive to improve, at least in my opinion, the examples that they have. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody. Everybody have an amazing rest of their day. I'm off tomorrow, but I'll be back on Monday streaming again with more of the ESP32 product creation journey. Thanks again, everybody, and have a great one.